Hello, Enron Raptor class. This is the first video of several that I'll be making, especially at the beginning of this semester. Our class time is super limited, but there's still a lot of things that I need to go over to get us all onboarded onto this crazy project, which you've signed on to. And I want to spend that class time with you guys talking and not me. So I'm just going to subject you to this video. Okay, so the purpose of this video is to give us some background on why we're using Slack. The first reason is that email sucks. As a project manager who primarily uses email, it is very difficult to capture all the interactions that are happening, and a lot of information gets lost, and you often forget to CC the right people, and on and on. Slack will give us the opportunity to all work together on this huge project, work individually within Slack, and have that information also be available to the whole group. Whereas if you're just sending an email to one or two other team members, that is all happening in a black box for as much as the rest of the team knows. And because our face-to-face time is so limited, we have to capture all of that information. But once we have that information, it's going to be super useful to everybody in the class. You will be asked to write some blog posts throughout the semester, and because you'll have an archive on Slack of all your interactions with all of your teammates, at least the virtual ones, you'll be able to go back and reflect on those interactions and incorporate them into your blog posts and other things. The other thing that's going to be really useful for Karen and I is this is a pretty experimental class for us, and if we can capture all of your interactions in Slack, we can look back after we've had this super successful class and investigate what was useful, what was helpful, when communication broke down, and why. Okay, so we're also going to have lots of little projects that need to be sort of put into one big project, and this will be a way for the whole team to go back and look at any of the other channels to get information, files, timelines that are going to be useful for the big project. Okay, so the other thing is that I'll emphasize this a couple times, but it may seem a little overwhelming to take on a new platform like this, but I promise you it will be better than email. Okay, let's get into it. So if you haven't already watched the What is Slack video on YouTube put up by the good people of Slack, go ahead and do that now. I've already I will put the URL on Slack so you can find it, but I'm sure you could Google it as well. And I might recommend, if you're pressed for time, that you speed it up a little bit. I find that super helpful to just get through YouTube videos because it's almost always too slow. Okay, so to Slack. So here we are at the announcements channel, and this is where Karen and I will be, posting, assignment due dates and just general announcements to the class, like who's bringing donuts, who's bringing coffee, that kind of thing. And this is where we've asked everybody to sort of introduce themselves here, and there's already some general shenanigans started here. If you want to have, the higher level shenanigans need to be in the random channel, which may or may not be useful, but are awesome otherwise. The Read This channel is where you might post, or Karen and I will be posting things that are like really pretty good for you to review in some way. That will help us as a team get on the same page faster. Okay. One thing you can do in the announcements channel, if you have, as you can see already here, there's @mentioning. It's easy per person, but I want to let you know that you can also @mention everyone. And I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to ping everybody right now. But you can @mention everyone if you need to send out an all points bulletin, like something really important. you can do that. You can also do @channel, which in this case would also send an email, or possibly an email, but send a notification to everyone on this channel. If there's smaller channels, 1 or 2 people, the @channel is just an easier way than trying to remember everybody that's in the channel. Okay, so let's create a new channel. That's super easy. You just go up here, create a new channel. Let's name it. We're going to do test. And the purpose is testing. And we'll set an invite to, I guess we'll let Christina in on here. And Karen can be on this channel too. Okay, I think that is it. Now we have created a channel, and they will likely get a notification that they've just been added to a new channel. What we want to do is have useful channels. So when we start to break the teams up into sub parts of the Raptor, this is what will be useful to us. We'll have different channels for different groups who are working on different problems. What we don't want to do is have a proliferation of channels for every little subject, because then it gets a little difficult to follow. Okay, so now that I have this channel created, I can, like I said, I can @channel, hey, just testing, don't worry. Okay, so now Christina and Karen probably just got messages of some kind of pings. So what would you use the channel for? You could use this to, hey, when can we meet? Those kinds of things. Also, you could post information here, like this is the best Slack intro, and it's gonna bring in that YouTube video. Then you have sort of a choice here. If you want to make a comment on this video, you can comment here, or you can create a thread, which keeps things a little bit more tidy. Yes, it is great. So now I can see here that there's a reply down here, but it's not in the general feed, which sort of helps. But you know, all of that information is still there and easy to find. The other thing you can do on your channel is post files. We are going to be using Box, just because that's what the university likes us to use. And let's see what happens when I click on that. Oh, it's going to make me go through the whole deal. So this is good. So I have to use my EID email address for Box. And more rigmarole. Okay, so now I can find a file in here. Then I can type a description here. Okay, and so there it is. And you can see that it's already brought in the comment that in my, so if I click on this, if I click on the, so I can see that's the first comment that was made. Okay, so the other thing you can do is you can have private conversations. Now, we don't really want to do this because it's basically like it's the same thing as in some degree as far as the collaboration is concerned. It's the same thing as sending an email or having a text message, because nobody else can see this either. They're totally private. Just testing. Okay, so now's probably a good time to talk about notifications. Here's where there's all sorts of different options here when it comes to notifications. I have mine set up for all new messages. But you could set this to however you want. But of course, like the fewer notifications you get, the more you'll have to catch up on at some point. So speaking of getting caught up, you can go to all threads to get to, like if you want to just get caught up on everything that's happened since the last time you were on Slack, click on all threads and that will show you basically everything. So here's our new test channel. That's the latest thing I did. This is a really great video from Read This. Announcements. You can kind of just get caught up really quickly that way, and then it will tell you right up here, once you're through everything, you're up to date. And so that can give you the confidence that you need to get through your day. Okay, so another great feature that is so much better than email and texting and any other option we had is that this search bar up here. So if I was thinking, oh, what was that Warhorse video that somebody shared? You can go war, and oh yeah, right here. The other thing that you have up in this area is a way to see all the files that you have uploaded. So you can see this latest file that I just put up, and you can see all the files that I've put up here. And then you can also see what everybody else has posted. Right now it's mostly me. But eventually that'll be a good way to find things that you need. Okay, so most of those files that you just saw there were actually uploaded to myself. This is one of the things that I love most about Slack, because it's a place for me to just dump ideas and stuff I have that it's in they fall in chronological order. But this is a great thing. Say if you have the mobile app for Slack and you're walking across campus and you have a great idea, you can just type it real quick here. And you can put anything here, like files, like I already said. But the really cool thing about this is that there's also the Slack bot. And there's lots of different features on here, but one that I've used a few times is the remind feature. Remind me to get donuts at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Okay, and then the Slack bot comes up and says, like, I will remind you to get donuts at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then you get a ping at the time that you set. So that's something I've used a lot, and it's really pretty cool. Okay, one other cool thing that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, thanks everybody. That's it.